30 days without sex. What actually happens to your body, your brain, and your relationships? Is it dangerous? Is it healthy? Or is it complicated? Let's strip away the myths and follow your biology day by day and system by system, because the answers may surprise you. This is not a moral story, it's a biology story, and we're talking about sexual activity in general, whether with a partner or solo, with no graphic details, just how the machinery reacts when you hit pause for 30 days. We'll look at hormones, stress, sleep, immune hints, reproductive basics, mood, focus, and connection. We'll separate data from hype and show you what most people actually feel, both in the short term and in the long term. Sex is a full-body event in which neurochemicals fire first. Dopamine surges with desire and reward. Oxytocin and vasopressin rise with touch and bonding. Endorphins blunt pain and create calm. Prolactin spikes after orgasm and signals satisfied. Cortisol, your stress hormone, can dip after good intimacy. Heart rate climbs during arousal. Breathing deepens. Blood vessels open. Muscles contract. And then the system resets. With abstinence, there is no sexual trigger, no surge, and no afterglow chemistry. But your baseline biology keeps running. Hormones keep cycling. Sleep still follows your circadian clock. Motivation finds other rewards, and the brain adapts, often faster than you expect. Day one feels simple because you're just not doing it, but the brain notices the missing reward loop, especially if sex was frequent, and cravings can appear, not always for sex itself, but for anything that gives a hit, such as sugar, scrolling, or busy work, because it's your dopamine system searching for a replacement. Mood can wobble. Some people feel edgy while others feel clear. And it depends on your stress level, your sleep debt, and how much you relied on sex for relief. If you used sex as a stress reset, the absence can feel loud. Sleep may change, since sex and orgasm often boost oxytocin and prolactin that nudge you toward drowsy contentment. Without them, some people take longer to drift off while others sleep the same. And if you notice restlessness, it usually settles by the end of week 1. Focus can actually sharpen because less time in the mating mindset leaves more time for the task mindset. Novelty hunting drops a notch, routines feel easier to hold, and that is not magic. It's simply cognitive bandwidth freed up. For men, there's a physical note. The testes keep producing sperm that mature over weeks, are stored in the epididymis, and move along with normal turnover. If ejaculation stops, nocturnal emissions can happen as a simple maintenance release. Common, normal, and not a problem. For women, baseline hormones follow the menstrual cycle rather than sexual frequency. Arousal patterns can shift with stress, sleep, and relationship context, but the cycle itself keeps its rhythm and less sexual activity doesn't shut down anything. By the end of week 1, the brain learns the new pattern, cravings soften, energy stabilizes, the body is fine, and the mind is adjusting. Week 2 is the adaptation window in which your reward system retunes. You still want pleasure, but the target broadens so movement can feel better, food tastes clearer, music hits harder, and novelty shifts away from sex and towards skill, progress, and play. Stress handling depends on your replacement habits. If you add exercise, breathing work, or sunlight, cortisol tends to behave. But if you just remove sex and add doom scrolling, stress can creep up. The biology is simple. Remove a pressure valve and add a healthier one. Mood can stabilize because oxytocin isn't only about sex. Hugs, eye contact, laughter, shared meals, and petting a dog also feed the bonding system. So if you keep touch in your life, your nervous system stays soothed. While if touch disappears completely, some people feel isolated. Skin hunger is real. Testosterone myths float around, with some claiming a massive rise after a week. But reality is that levels bounce within your normal range. Day-to-day swings happen with sleep, stress, time of day, and training, and abstinence alone isn't a steroid cycle. You may feel more drive because you're thinking about sex, but the hormone itself usually stays close to baseline. Immune notes are subtle. Sex and orgasm may give small, short spikes in certain immune markers, and without them, you miss the spike. But your whole immune system does not collapse. Sleep, protein, micronutrients, and movement matter more, and if you keep those steady, you're steady. Cardio and pelvis come down to activity. Sex is light to moderate exercise for most people, so if you remove it, you've removed a little exercise. Replace it with a walk or a hill sprint and your heart won't complain. By week 3, habits harden and the brain predicts the new normal. Drive doesn't vanish, it redistributes. So you might notice stronger concentration windows and you might finish tasks you've been avoiding. Not because sex is bad, but because friction is lower. Relationship dynamics matter here. If you're partnered and aligned about the 30-day pause, communication can deepen as you learn to soothe each other without sex and build micro-rituals like tea at night, a walk at sunset, and a longer hug before work. Oxytocin still flows and trust grows. If you're not aligned, tension can build. And this isn't biology's fault. It's expectation management. Clarity and kindness matter more than hormones. So talk early, talk often, use simple words, and name the goal of the pause. Curiosity beats guessing. Physically, nothing is backing up in a harmful way. Reproductive tissues are designed for cycles. Cells turn over, and fluids are reabsorbed or released in sleep. For men, semen parameters shift with abstinence length. Short breaks can increase volume while very long breaks can reduce motility. And 30 days is a blip on the larger timeline. For women, lubrication and arousal often improve with sleep, hydration, and mental safety, not just frequency. As for skin, hair, and auras, popular claims go wild here. There's no strong evidence that 30 days without sex transforms your jawline or gives you superpowers, but you may notice posture, eye contact, and calmer speech. Those are confidence behaviors. Behavior changes are visible, and that can look like glow. Here's the twist. For many people, the biggest change isn't sexual, it's attention, because desire is powerful, and when you remove a fast reward, you rediscover slow rewards. And slow rewards build deep motivation. Another twist is that bonding can increase when sex pauses if touch stays. 10-second hugs reduce stress, 3-breath cuddles slow the heart, and hand-holding syncs steps and rhythm so the body still whispers, "We're safe," and safety grows desire later. One more twist. You learn your triggers, whether desire is strongest when you're bored, stressed, lonely, or happy and grateful, and knowing the pattern gives you choice, and choice beats autopilot, always. Treat this like an experiment, a clean 30-day lab test, and here's how to get real data from your life. Anchor your why, curiosity, focus, or reset, then name it, because your brain takes goals seriously when they're spoken. Keep touch if you're partnered, hugs, back rubs, slow dancing, so you get oxytocin without pressure. Replace the stress valve by adding a 15-minute walk after work, 2 minutes of slow nasal breathing before bed, and 1 glass of water in the morning sun. These are small levers with big returns. Feed sleep with a regular bedtime, a cool room, and screens down a bit earlier. If you've lost the sleepy afterglow, build a new on-ramp. Move your body because sex counts as movement, so replace it. Short circuits work, like push-ups, air squats, a plank, and repeat. Your heart likes routines. Mind your mind. When cravings hit, label them as urge, then breathe, because cravings rise like a wave and then fall. Ride, don't wrestle. Protect connection. If you're in a relationship, talk logistics with no guessing games, because warm honesty reduces friction. Friction reduction saves energy, and saved energy feeds patience. Watch your inputs. If sexual content spikes your brain, prune it and curate your feed because your attention is a garden. So weed it. At day 30, reflect on what changed: mood, sleep, productivity, connection, and decide what you want to keep and what you want to bring back. You don't lose your libido forever. You don't poison your body. You don't become superhuman from abstinence alone. You don't ruin your hormones in a month. Most systems float near baseline, and your experience depends more on stress, sleep, activity, and social life than on the simple presence or absence of sex. When you return after 30 days, many people report novelty, more patience, more sensation, and better communication. Because you practiced talking, you built anticipation, and you tuned your nervous system. Desire enjoys contrast, and pause creates contrast. Day 30 is the debrief. You didn't break your biology and you didn't unlock a superpower. What you unlocked was attention. Name what changed: sleep, stress, focus, connection, and keep the rituals that helped. If you're partnered, bring sex back on purpose. Consent, care, curiosity. If something felt off, pain, persistent low mood, loss of interest in everything, talk to a qualified clinician. Bottom line, 30 days without sex is rarely dangerous, often clarifying, and sometimes powerfully healthy, not because abstinence is magic, but because intention is. When you control the lever of attention, you control the quality of your days. Thanks for watching. If this helped, share it with someone who's curious, and tell us in the comments what your Day 30 debrief revealed.